Now, yesterday, a federal indictment alleged that Paul Manafort, former chairman of the Trump campaign, had laundered more than $18 million in hidden overseas wealth by spending in the United States. And spend he did. According to CNN, Manafort made much of the money lobbying for Ukraine, work that, of course, he never disclosed to the United States government. That's why he's in a little bit of trouble. Now, authorities said that Manafort hid the income by funneling it through different offshore accounts and spending it on luxury goods for himself and his family. So he launders the money through different offshore accounts and shell companies and plays all these different games to avoid taxes. Again, that's another one of the charges here. And so he gets the money here and he's like, okay, what am I going to spend it on? I'm going to make it rain up in this bitch. That's exactly what he did. In some cases, even, before I get to what he spent on, the indictment also accuses Manafort of using the money to buy multi-million-dollar homes and then using those homes as collateral to borrow even more money. In some cases, the indictment says Manafort lied to banks about how the homes were used so he could obtain even more generous loans. Here's some of the things that he spent his money on. For one, he spent $5.4 million at a home improvement company in the Hamptons. So he's doing all this renovation, apparently. $1.3 million got spent on home lighting and entertainment. This is at a company in Florida. And the most shocking one to me is spending $934,350 at an antique rug store in Alexandria, Virginia. Dude, rugs? No, they're antique rugs. Doesn't matter. They're rugs, you step on them. I'm just saying, why rugs? That's a weird choice. But here's more. $849,000 on men's clothing in New York. So one of the things that they did when federal agents raided his home in July is like they took pictures of his fancy suits. I guess makes sense because that's what he got. He got all those suits from those ill-gotten gains, that laundered money. Now, he also spent $820,000 on landscaping in the Hamptons, of course. $623,000 at an antique dealer in New York. $500,000 at a clothing store in Beverly Hills. $500,000 in an investment company. $432,000 for a contractor in Florida. New Mercedes-Benz, it's about $60,000. A new Range Rover is about $47,000. Payments related to 3 different Range Rovers, $163,000. Home equipment installation company in the Hamptons, it's about $112,000. And a property management company in South Carolina, he spent about $46,000. Housekeeping, $20,000, and an art gallery in Florida, about $30,000. Now, the indictment also says Manafort used some of that money to buy 3 different properties. They have those listed in the article. The indictment says that Manafort listed the Soho condominium on Airbnb for at least a year to take advantage of the tax benefits of owning a rental property. The document also alleges that he applied for a mortgage on the property and falsely said it was a secondary home instead of a rental, a claim that got him a bigger loan than he would actually have otherwise received. So I had that reversed. I had it right the first time. Now, after buying the Brooklyn home in 2012, Manafort started renovating it. According to the indictment, he also borrowed cash against the property and told the bank he would use $1.4 million from a loan on construction. None of that happened because apparently he just loves swindling and lying to banks. The document also says that Manafort instead used much of the money to make a down payment on another house in California. So, look, here's a guy that laundered $18 million. He bought a whole bunch of rugs, almost $1 million on rugs, as well as spent a whole bunch of money on home automation, lighting, and home entertainment. So he's just basically throwing his money around. That's not very smart. Look, I don't know if he's just brazen or if he's stupid. Or maybe he's a combination of both. I don't know. This is the guy, though, that ran off with millions from a Russian aluminum magnate named Oleg Deripaska. Now, I think he owed him somewhere around 18 to 19 million. And so he was in a massive amount of debt. And it turns out he owed this money right before he joined the Trump campaign. In fact, emails showed that he may have joined the Trump campaign in order to, quote, get whole. That means pay off my debts. In an email to his old lieutenant, Konstantin Kilimnik, who had worked for him a decade in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, said, "I assume you're showing our friends my media coverage, right?" "Absolutely," Kilimnik responded a few hours later. "Every article. Quote, how do we use to get whole? Has OVD operation seen?" And of course, OVD is assumed to be Oleg Deripaska. Now, again, this letter is right after Manafort joined the Trump campaign, and so it shows you that he was actually using the campaign or to try and repay some of his massive debts. That's why he emailed Deripaska saying, "Hey, by the way, I've got information in this campaign. Hey, will that help me repay the debt so you can get a little bit of leverage inside the new administration if they win? And there's a good chance that they will win. Hey, I got information. Come on, deal with me. Try to cancel out my debt." He wanted to curry favor to his debtors by giving the Russians an access to a presidential campaign. Now, that's a campaign, of course, that seemed really fine with the idea of getting dirt on Hillary Clinton from a foreign government, which is a no-no. Look, Paul Manafort has to be one of the dumbest, most corrupt people. I mean, again, taking that money from Deripaska and running. It's amazing. Not only that, but he laundered millions of dollars and used them and spent it for his opulent lifestyle, and then tried to use his political position or position in a political campaign in order to try and pay off that debt. Not only is he dumb, but also incredibly morally bankrupt. That's who Paul Manafort is. And if Donald Trump is the kind of person that surrounds himself with these kind of people, it also shows you who Donald Trump is. But I think we already knew that. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.